welcome to the Crafty Boys, where we talk about beer and stuff, and drink
Emphasis
beer
on
and
the stuff.
and stuff. So I'm going to start it off tonight with Dave and Alan, because they are the ones who have found something that they both could get. I could not find it. What is it? Tell us all about it. Why is it awesome?
Okay, well, Dave picked this beer, but I don't know. I may as well, since I'm
Picked?
big.
I don't know. I happened to find. This was totally random.
All right, so it is from How Sound Brewing, which I believe is in Vancouver somewhere.
That
It
is
is
correct.
their Ultra Destroyer. Oh, see, now I got the volumes now. Ultra Destroyer Imperial Licorice Stout. Now, what's interesting about this beer is this is a renaming of an existing beer. So How Sound for years has made a beer called the Mega Destroyer Stout. It's exactly the same as this beer. It was a collaboration between How Sound Brewing and Mega Destroyer Clothing. And I guess that collaboration isn't happening anymore. So they decided to rename the beer something else. And so they've named it Ultra Destroyer. I've actually had this beer once before when it was Mega Destroyer, and I only had it once because at 10% alcohol by volume, it mega destroyed me. So I said I would never drink it again, but here I am. I'm drinking the Ultra Destroyer Imperial Licorice Stout that Dave so generously chose. And you know what? I mean, it was a long time ago. You know, I'm more used to these kind of things, right? So, let's go. Let's go.
We'll see, boys. We'll see. Honestly, I'll be straight up. This was random. I saw it on the shelf.
Yeah.
And I said, licorice, I'm in.
Okay.
Here we are. I didn't even look at the booze levels or anything. I'm just like, this must be tried. And motor oil, I think, Alan.
Oh, totally. Oh, yes, motor oil.
That's not a comment on the flavor or anything, but
and I can smell the black licorice off of this. Yeah,
and I can actually taste it. It's quite nice. I'm liking this.
Now, how strong is the licorice flavor? Are we talking like, the sort of the black licorice that you get alongside the red licorice, or are we talking like
no.
You get in England?
It's more subtle than that.
I would say it almost tastes like black Twizzlers. Like somebody took black Twizzlers, melted them down, and poured them into a glass. That's what this tastes like.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Like it doesn't even taste like beer. It doesn't even taste like a stout to me.
So are you finding this sweet, Alan?
Oh, very much so.
Okay.
Good. It tastes good. It smells amazing. But definitely not like you don't want to chug this thing, otherwise you're going to put yourself in the hospital. And have to get like a liver transplant or something.
Well, that's the best part. I'm already on the list.
But it's very flavorful. I mean, so much flavor on this. Yes. Mouthfeel, lots of body. And sorry, How Sound is from Squamish, not Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they start packaging stuff in cans. So this is the Ultra Destroyer. This is what it looks like.
That's right. Yeah, I remember when we
show the can of close.
Started the show.
I'm trying. It's kind of like fading out.
Yeah. I know how it does that. I mean, that is good. Yeah. What is it? Are there those giant teeth about to bite a ship?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like the slug monster from the asteroid in Empire Strikes Back that almost eats the Millennium Falcon.
Yes,
it's like that, but it's in water and it's going to eat like a tall ship. And then over on the other side of the can, there's like some sort of a serpent that's going to get the ass end of the tall ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it a thumbs up. Dave, what are you thinking?
Totally. I just find it interesting, as usual. I don't really find this sweet. I mean, yes, it's sweet,
Right.
most definitely. But because for me, sweet is chocolate, not beer. I still find beer generally it's beer, right? It doesn't have that same level of sugary ridiculousness that sugar does.
Not as sugary as Coca-Cola is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is getting there, and it does have sweetness. It does. I guess when I think of the licorice that I would translate this to, this would be more like one of your Australian, what the hell do they call it? Eating licorice or something weird? I don't know what, but you get they come in these bags. I can't remember the brand. I bought some. Like,
are they the really strongly flavored, like triple salted kind of licorice?
No, that's Dutch stuff. No, this is Australian. It's quite soft, and they're little pieces.
Little
short chunks.
Nib.
Yeah, they're a bit like nibs. If you exploded them about by times 4, size wise.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I like this stuff. It's so tasty. But yeah, that stuff is rich, and I mean, there's no mistaking that for licorice. And there's no mistaking this either. You know, if you're used to beer, it's definitely got licorice going on, and it does have sweetness. But it's not. I would still say, as usual, it's fairly subtle, like most beers with flavors in. It's there, but it is not even near the level of a piece of licorice that you might chow on.
Right.
But yeah, enjoying this one. Being careful to not slam this one back. I want to stay awake the whole time, so I'm gonna nurse this one a bit.
Bad bombing. That was a Jar Jar Binks reference. I think most of the guys can get that. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it was Jar Jar Binks, and you know how it is. So anyway, boys, about
sorry.
you are banished. But sadly, we all got it, so we should just turn ourselves all off. That's it. The show's over. We're done. We've peaked.
Glad to see you, Fez.
We've now that we recognize Jar Jar Binks jokes, how do you recover from Jar Jar Binks? Locke, what are you drinking today?
Talking about beer. All right. So this evening, and actually this does help the recovery somewhat. If you think about the history of slightly dodgy science fiction, and look back to one of the true classics, which was Le Planète Sauvage, or The Fantastic Planet, as I think the English release was. 70s psychedelic, total mayhem. That is kind of the style of the artwork on this tin here. Let me see if I can bring this to light. Oh, geez, God, no, I don't know if we're getting quite. Can you now? Oh, here we go. Yeah, can you kind of? Yeah, you see what's going on there? It's sort of like,
I see Dalmatians.
Yeah, that's wrong. It's not Dalmatians.
That's like Dalmatians that have.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Oh wait.
Okay, so
it looks like
Bits of Planet.
So it's a Wellington brewery product. And check it out. What we have is little people tying down Gulliver-sized, broccoli-looking heads of people.
Nice.
Which is exactly the kind of shit that we're talking about here. And with Jar Jar Binks, be roaming around in the are those snot bubbles or trees? I don't know. I can't tell. But oh shit! Actually, these heads are floating. Yeah. This is exactly that level of dodgy science fiction where it could be just some fucking really bad acid. Um, so this is the Faces Double IPA with Citra and Idaho 7 hops. It clocks in at 8.5 alcohol per volume. Somehow this thing managed to win a silver in 2019 at the, what is that? Some fucking award. I don't know. Yeah, the text is actually printed so small that I cannot read it. I tried reading it earlier and failed, and now that I have more light on it, I still cannot tell what the hell that says. So this is an award-winning beer. Why is it an award-winning beer? I have no idea, because it is. It's mighty fucking standard. That said, it is a lot of the things I like, which is it's a double IPA, notes of grapefruit and pine. That's sort of. I'm more of a grapefruity, piney kind of IPA drinker than like when it sort of dances into mango territory. And the bitterness is real. You can tell that it's there. Oh, it says I should try this in a tulip glass. Okay, let me rejig this. I have a glass that is, if not a tulip, then bloody close. Let's see if that changes the picture at all. Oh, and contents, barley, wheat, and oats. It's getting, I don't know if it's the same in BC, but Ontario beers, it's every kind of, I'm surprised they don't have quinona in beer now. You know what I mean? Are you sure you don't want to add rice to that mix? What about?
It would be so nice if we had quinoa and garbanzo beans.
Was that
and
quinoa?
Quinoa,
Yeah, that stuff. Which apparently has awesome amounts of protein, but.
I was just reading, speaking of quinoa, I was just reading the other day about how some of the naturally occurring things in green vegetables like kale and broccoli are highly toxic. And so I was doing a bit of reading about that, and apparently it's true. There's a contingent of vegan advocates who are trying to get vegans to calm down on eating kale, calm down on eating that particular family, which is kale, broccoli. There's like 4 or 5 other things in it. There's a particular protein in them that actually can wreck your liver and damage your organs and cause like a lot of chaos in your body because of just one component in the entire thing. I forgot exactly what it is. Let me find out. Broccoli will kill you.
That's really surprising. Now, I don't think most people eat so much broccoli that it's going to kill them. I think most people are probably pretty. Look, if you think about
most often not.
Of broccoli, I think you'll find.
Yeah, here we go. It is a component called thiocyanates. I don't know exactly what they are, but essentially,
nasty already.
It's a complex thing, but it's an inhibit. It can actually this is the big problem with it, is that if you eat it to really high levels, and apparently in this thing I was reading about it, and this stuff is like going back 2014, 2015, where this has all been published about how this stuff, because of the way vegans tend to eat, they eat a lot of things that are leafy greens, stuff like that, which are generally thought of as being great, except for certain families of food, and broccoli being one of them. But essentially, there at this stage, the article I'm looking at right now is 2015, and they're finding a lot of people with where they've damaged their thyroids because this particular thing, this thiocyanate, whatever that is, acts as an inhibitor to actually block your liver and your thyroid from actually working properly and absorbing iodine. So if you're not able to absorb things your body actually needs, your organs are getting damaged because it's not able to do the job. Because the big note here is that the vegans and the blood work they've done on about this particular group of people who are vegans, they have 17 times the amount of this particular protein thing in their body than the average other non-vegan. Vegetarians are like half of that, and then people that are not, purely on vegetable diets are, don't have it, because it's that plus whatever other pesticides and all that kind of stuff. But this one protein really just destroys you. Why did I get talking about this? I can't even remember how I got here. But anyway, there you go. Don't eat broccoli in great amounts.
What you're saying is that if all you consume is beer and children, then you'll be fine.
Oh, exactly.
Protein in them.
Yeah.
Whoa. Just a second. You mean I'm supposed to limit my intake of children?
No.
Oh, that's it. I'm out. I can't have a diet anymore. That's it. My child diet is out.
So now that I'm trying this in the 2 glasses, worth having a little chat about this, because at one point I had really sophisticated beer drinking glass, and all I will say is that having moved to a different country twice since then, all of that glass is now broken. So what I have instead is something that I got out of a prize package, of awesome beer, and a mason jar. And so what this is kind of like is a standard pint glass, and what this is like is a bit more like a tulip glass. And what you will find changes drastically is that the nose, and in that respect, the flavor of the beer softens considerably when you get this tulip shape. Why is that? I actually have no idea about the science behind it, but maybe that's a research project for us to look at a future episode.
Oh, I'm fully on board.
Yeah. But what I will say is that what it does tend to do is it tends to take a lot of the sort of the sharper edges off of the flavor. And this is having a good effect on this beer. Now, as opposed to before where I was saying that it was good but standard, now I'm appreciating a greater balance of flavors here. Absolutely more quinoa, quinoa.
You want some quinoa? Yeah, sorry, I was not paying attention to the chat. I'm really sorry, boys and girls. Cheers from Nelson Island. Julian, of course, is on the island. I want to welcome Fez TTV. Thank you for coming by. That is actually very, very true. Yes, that's true, because one of the things that we encountered many, many years ago when we started the podcast was one particular beer was that cucumber thing by Granville Island Brewing, and they made this beer, and we drank it right out of the bottle, and it was horrible. We hated it. It tasted gross. It was just brutal. And then I think we gave it another chance, like a few weeks later, or maybe the following year, and we had sort of switched to becoming more, glass-based, real crystal boys. But the thing is that greatly improved the beer. I do not know why. It's for that particular beer anyway. Anyway, continue, Luck.
Speculate. So if we were to just balance this out a little bit. So what we've got going on here in terms of fluid dynamics, as opposed to what we've got going on here. I mean, fluid dynamics, the natural tendency is for there to be more of a flow, more motion if there's a rounded edge, because that means whatever momentum comes up in terms of the movement of the liquid within the glass isn't inhibited by a hard edge. Whereas here, as Julian so cleverly pointed out, this has a little bit of a jarring effect. You see how that would be?
Real crystal boys. That's exactly who we are. By the way, the crystal thing comes from the reason that crystal is really important is that Julian is actually the one who insists that any drink, especially beer that is consumed, must use real crystal. You cannot use anything else. If you are not a crystal user, then forget it. You're just wasting the drink. So there you go. So Julian, please begin your chant of the real crystal boys, because that's really who we are. So for me today, the beer I have is hopefully the bottle won't beam out, is Dieu du Ciel. This is a beer from Montreal, I think. Is that right, Locke?
Yeah, correct.
And it is their Pêche Motel. It is a coffee stout, imperial coffee stout, rocking in at 9.5%. I randomly chose this mainly because I couldn't find what Alan and Dave were having. So the nice people at the beer store said, try this. You won't be disappointed. And Locke, yes, I'm sorry. The lady did point out that they had rebranded. So I know you don't like the new artwork. This particular artwork is this fire-breathing snake thing, which looks like it's
So
making love to a glass of
what
coffee beans.
What would have happened is that they like, look, if it were me, I would have stuck with their original branding, because I'm one of those more is more people. I don't know about less is more.
Gallery.
The
Oh wow.
The older branding was all very Art Nouveau, so kind of Muka kind of looking stuff, like the Joe cigarette guy, that kind of look, so sort of. But and it was well executed, like like evidently an expensive job. That branding,
Julian, you're not chanting.
more brutalist, and I'm guessing what they were really trying to achieve there is they were trying to differentiate themselves from really the big boys of Quebec brewing, or Quebec craft brewing, more to the point, which is Unibrew. And Unibrew have always classically had that sort of very illustrative sort of look to their bottles, kind of, horses
Very pleased. Okay.
flying through the sky next to a burning church or something to that effect, or
Mine just look like paintings to me.
By the way, Locke,
exactly. It's right.
I want to address your shirt. Is that brand new?
That is brand
because Locke sent me a photo today, about an hour ago, where you were at where were you?
I was at the first live music event that I've been to since the lockdown, and oh my god, it was nice. God, I missed this. I got to dance. I got to meet chicks. I got to act like an asshole. I got to bounce around and be a lunatic. I got to buy T-shirts. Everything I love about good music, right? Because it's all about music.
Hey, you introduced me to the band you went to see last week. So yeah,
right. So Dance with the Dead headlining and Magic Sword opening. Magic Swords, their fans like to show up in robes, and they bring toy lightsabers, which they bang to music, which is pretty epic.
Wow. Okay,
that
Shane.
beer, by the way, is very good. It tastes like coffee. It smells like coffee.
Where'd you get it?
I got this at Brewery Creek on Main Street here in Vancouver.
Alan,
I just kind of. Sorry.
I think I saw that bottle down at the Eagle Creek.
Do walk on the moon. Do a moonwalk. Do it. Do it. Do it. So you saw that bottle somewhere at the store.
I think I saw it down at Eagle Creek location for the.
Yeah, I tried to find the beer that you guys were doing, and I don't know. I don't know why. I was actually a little surprised. But
the reason why you couldn't find this one is
Okay.
because it came out in November last year, and it's a seasonal. So I have a feeling we just caught the tail end of it here in Victoria, and it's probably not been available over there for quite some time.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Yeah, they definitely. I mean, they knew that at the Brewery Creek place. They did know. They knew it was available in the past. They had it, but there's just no more. Oh wait, hell, what's it? Hey Dave, is that what I think it is?
That is a
And?
strat, yes.
Yep.
But he's asking if it's a Beatles rock band, as in the video game.
No.
No, it's a real guitar.
I
It's the
have the
real
Beatles rock band guitar with drum set and
Oh,
which
nice.
is an awesome. It is an awesome game, really entertaining, albeit
Nice.
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 Yeah, that's what we should do. We should totally do that on the stream when we get really hammered.
One day when we're all together, yes, we should do.
Yeah, we haven't done this show together for some time.
It's
Briefly, I think this past December, but I think by then, I think we've all had COVID by now. Is this true?
Yeah, totally true. Yep.
I haven't. But.
I
No.
don't think I have, but you never know.
No, but Alan, do you know?
Well, no, I guess not. I mean,
Have
I
you
haven't
felt
I haven't
ill?
had any. No, I haven't.
You're triple vaxxed, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have not felt any symptoms, but that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Well, neither did I. I mean, yeah, I'm just assuming it was. The timing was too perfect.
Yeah.
You know, went out to an event for like a couple hours. A week later, I'm like, I'm not feeling 100%. So what's going on in the world? What have you guys been encountering this week? Any beer news? Any boring news? The only news I have this week really is that I had to rebuy the Pink Floyd tickets because they canceled the event, which was to happen at the end of February, and now it's been inserted into the very tail end of the American part of the American leg. They're coming back to Vancouver, and they're going to do the show November 1st, I think. Or yeah, the 1st. I'm pretty sure it's the 1st.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a Tuesday, so there we go. And Alan, you have to go.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Alan, your background is too boring, man. Can you fix that? We will wait until you're ready.
Yeah, I don't like how there's all this spacey stuff going on around my head. It's like makes me.
Yeah. The anti-aliasing garbage.
Just
Aliasing
stay real
garbage.
still, Alan.
Artifacting like fuck.
Yes. So now I did read something in the past couple of weeks, and it's not beer related, but I thought, oh man, this is like a good topic of discussion for us.
Yes, you were saying.
Okay, so somebody said this. Somebody asked a question in an online thing. It goes, who started World War II? And the person's answer was Indiana Jones.
Continue.
Okay, so the whole basis behind this is that Indiana Jones was competing with the Nazis to find the Lost Ark. And if Indiana Jones hadn't have defeated the Nazis to take the Lost Ark, the Nazis would have taken the Lost Ark back to Berlin, opened it up with Hitler present. The ghost would have come out, Hitler's face would have melted, and there would be no Third Reich.
That's a good point.
Oh, I never thought about it that way, but that is actually fair.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
To be honest, I definitely think that is a reasonable.
it's all Harrison Ford's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
You
what
got
the
a
hell,
problem with
dude?
World War II? Go see Harrison Ford. It's his fault. Jerk.
Well, the thing, James, is we're not okay. That's part of our charm, is that we're broken people. But that said, it is a missed opportunity that Indiana Jones was not available to, or was not smart enough to go, you know what, if they do take it back, that now granted,
the plot of the movie indicates that nobody had any fucking idea exactly how that goddamn thing. No. Okay, right. So there was that piece at the beginning where everybody was covering their eyes while the thing's open and burning everybody with cinder or whatever. Which, if you look at the image involved, was an image that was almost certainly a copper plate engraving from the 18th century, and so you gotta wonder whether that's really all that indicative of, what any ancient people would have noticed about how this particular amazingly powerful artifact works. So yeah, I guess I wonder how you would guess that the whole deal is that you cover your eyes and that's the smart thing to do. I mean, evidently, I mean, people in the 18th century were obviously pretty smart, so I guess maybe they figured that out. But how do they do that without access to the thing? Because the thing was supposed to have been lost all those centuries, and if it really was there in that fucking crazy snake pit or whatever the fuck it was, then yeah, you'd be surprised if anybody knew about that. Huh? That's a little weird, isn't it? That would be an anomaly. That would be a problem with that theory.
It is a stretch. There is some stretching going on there.
You guys could be any Star Wars character. What Star Wars character would you be? Would be Bra Leia.
Nice.
Slave Leia? That's a very good question. For some reason I picture Locke.
I don't know who I would choose to be. I know who I am.
Han Solo every single step of the way. Who would? I'm asking that if that's who you'd be.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Yeah. Sorry.
Who it would be or who I am?
Who you are.
I'm Chewbacca.
Okay, I didn't want to say that. You're a tall guy.
You know that it's fucking true. I mean,
But
I speak English. That's the difference.
Right.
And I wash my fucking hair, but
actually, it's funny. I played a game, a role playing game, Star Wars, as a once the Star Wars role playing game, and I chose to be a Wookiee. And However, when I was creating the character, you had to roll dice for certain attributes, and the attribute that I rolled was I had no hair, so I was a hairless Wookiee. But I was strong as fuck, like I was a monster, and it was amazing, like to be able to feel very tall and to feel, like, there was that ability. But so yeah, if I had a choice, I could be a Wookiee. I totally could. There are times where I thought I could be like an Ewok because they're sort of Hobbit-like, but they're, I don't know. There's just something about them that don't really turn my gears. But I'm trying to picture what Dave would be as a Star Wars character.
You're way too much. You're way too much technical to be a fucking Ewok.
Dave would be Salacious Crumb.
Oh, dude, you read my mind. You read my mind. That is totally what I was thinking.
Really?
I shit you not.
Tell us more.
Can we get a picture of Salacious Crumb up?
That is a good idea because
either that, or I'd be Admiral Akbar.
Well, there's a big difference
That's a
between
trap!
Salacious Crumb and
They are fairly different characters.
Admiral Akbar.
So here we go. So Salacious Crumb is one of those characters that is so memorable that I suddenly changed
no idea
people
what you're
around.
talking about. Just to be honest, I am.
You'll see in a second. Here we go. So here is Salacious Crumb. So this is the character that Dave is supposed to be.
Oh,
now
that had a name.
That thing had a name. He was, the pet, for lack of a better word, for Jabba, and
he only had one line the whole thing.
Rebo and the Jizz Whalers. That is the best name ever. I'm just picturing us on a longboat with like a harpoon on the front, being, "Don't fall in, boys. Don't fall in." Oh my God, that is okay, James. That was absolutely brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Oh my God. For those who don't know who Max Rebo is, although I'm not sure who the Jizz Whalers are, but you know what? I don't care. They're awesome anyway. But Max Rebo is quite famous in the world, and he in the Star Wars universe. So there he is. There, he is the elephant-like character who's the keyboard player. And he never seems to die because I do believe
I know, right?
He's escaped like explosion after explosion. So
there's one big one. He was on Jabba's sail barge that blew up, thing like debris everywhere, and showed up in Book of Boba Fett, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Are you sure you're not just being racist there? I mean, they all look the same, right?
Star Wars characters, yeah, sort of.
Do we have any data as to what that blue elephant-looking keyboard playing motherfucker actually is? Is there a? I have to imagine.
Oh, what is he species-wise?
If nothing else, fan fiction has filled that in.
Max Rebo is a male ortolan. Ortolan? Yes, Ortolan.
He's an Ortolan. I'm
He
just-
now here's now.
Female ortolans just
I-
have a big
I-
hole in their face.
So by the way, just to bring this comment about the Jizz Whaler thing, so I'm only just learning this. Max Rebo is from a planet called Orto and is a popular Jizz Whaler musician who led the Max Rebo band. So that instrument that he's playing is called a Jizz Whaler.
Serious.
Whale as in whale, as in W-A-I-L.
I'm out.
Of course it is.
So now we have learned more about the Star Wars universe than I think we ever would have guessed.
This is a little bit. This is a little bit like the revelation that there was a British children's television series that had a character on it called Seaman Staines.
What? Jesus Christ. By the way, Max Rebo does have a brother. He has a brother named Azul Fantel, who is a criminal. So I guess he went bad, and his brother became a musician.
I'd be all about seeing
Who
what
works for a criminal.
what the evil blue elephant got up to. That'd be some fucking serious like Desjardins like fucking. That would be that would be delirium. You know, the beer delirium.
Now, the one thing I'm very concerned about is that if you have watched the television program The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett, specifically in the Book of Boba Fett, the bar where Max Rebo is playing all those years later is blown up. So I'm very curious to know if
He's
Max
gonna show
Rebo
up again.
survived.
Nobody died in that. Nobody died. If
Did nobody die? They were...
Nobody died on Jabba's sail barge, apparently. So
Sorry.
except for Jabba. Everybody else lived.
So all of those guys that got thrown into the Sarlacc pit survived? Okay, just checking.
Boba
I just wanted to
Fett-
make sure. I want to make sure
We-
that I understand.
Weequay survived.
Sorry, I got to stop you there. Who?
Weequay, the prune face looking guy.
Really? Oh, I didn't know he
Well,
survived.
he showed
Okay.
up. He's what's that? The bartender guy in that town off.
Oh, right, that guy. That's right. You're in
Both the
what's it called?
Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett.
Well, I'm trying to remember what the heck the town was
With
called.
the-
'Cause
the
its
sheriff
name
guy.
actually changed.
Yeah, Freetown.
Freetown? Was it called Free? Yeah, it was okay, you're right. It was called Freetown. There we go. Previously known as Mospelgo.
Right. So
Um,
Weequay survived that explosion,
that's right. Okay, well, hey.
and Max Rebo. A lot of people survived that explosion. Crazy town.
So apparently you are a genie, Al. Which, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me.
I could well be. He read my mind as well.
If you run
Now,
me 3 times, I'll grant you a win.
if you rub me 3 times, I'll be something else. Let me tell you. Rub me really quickly 480 times, and well. James, you have to come back every week, man. You are absolutely amazing. Actually, that I gotta say, speaking of those guards, the Gamorrean guards, those guys, I'm so happy that they were brought back in those new shows, because beforehand they were just kind of like green pig humanoid things. And in the TV show, they actually were made to be like real characters, like they were like these actual things. So
Yeah. Although I gotta say, like, before Peter Jackson did his thing, that's what I assumed orcs looked like.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they were kind of always. I always thought of them these lumbering sort of, brutes that were going to brutalize you if you got too close, kind of thing.
Well, they kind of look like that, don't they?
Yeah, like all of the original artwork kind of paints them that sort of direction.
Yeah.
But but once we got to see the Lord of the Rings and what was going on there, that's definitely you had more variety.
Like, well, it was interesting because I mean that's Peter Jackson's vision of what those stories
True.
look like. If I'm to be honest, like I still kind of think that I imagined it better.
Okay, how so?
Like to me, it was always more realistic. You know.
Well, in the Lord of the Rings from the 70s, that animated cell shaded painted over live action thing,
Oh, the Ralph Bakshi one.
yeah, they were very much just, they looked like people. They were colored a certain way,
Yeah, but
but
yeah, that's because the technique that Bakshi was using to try to achieve that vision was one that didn't, strictly speaking, work out all that well. It was like it was a pretty experimental technology at the time. I mean, today what he was trying to do was obvious. Back then, without the use of digital advances, like you're in an analog environment where you're taking actual film of actual people, and you're going to try to translate that so that it turns into this thing that you're imagining. And I think I think what maybe was missing there, what maybe Bakshi was hoping for but didn't get, and what with when you're looking at visual impressions, you don't get discrete outlines the way you do in illustrations. What you get is just fields of color and shade. And so it looks kind of patchy. You know what I mean?
yeah, okay. I can see that, totally can. But at the end of the day, we really need to have. I think we need to have the ability to create an orc army. I mean, I really think Captain Picard is on the bridge. Which reminds me, if you have not been watching Picard, I highly recommend it.
Oh, totally.
I've been checking a bit of that out. Yeah, I mean, I was a little worried after the first episode that we were going to get like just some alternate fucking history timeline bullshit, but actually, it's playing out not too badly. I like they've avoided the worst crimes of time travel fiction.
True.
Like if I'm just to rate the fuck from I recently watched an episode of Outlander, and I gotta say, my God, that's fucking rubbish.
Yeah, totally.
The quality of time travel science fiction is that of described video.
No. So Outlander is not time travel science fiction stuff. It is chick porn.
You're right. It is chick porn.
I watched the first episode, maybe the second, and that was enough.
You are correct, chick porn. But for fuck's sake, do you really need some 20th century Yank explaining how dishwashery she is to the fucking, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, shut up. Tell the story. not that they tell it well. Like, frankly, their notion of Scots history is so Yankish that it beggars the possibility that there's any history there at all. Which is like, God, it's like it really is properly fucked.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of things that are properly fucked, although I think in a good way for this one is being able to, or knowing that, because I have not been watching Discovery. I'm like in the second season of it, and apparently I think it has 4 now, and and Discovery has the offshoot of Brave New World or
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds, which
Which
is
I'm
Pike.
excited for.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like Pike is basically taking the Enterprise out for its first voyage, from what I understand, or something like that.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah, something like that.
Spock is there. Number 1 is of course the is Chapel. No, not Chapel. Is Chapel? I can't
Well, in Discovery season 2, it was Rebecca Romaine
remember. Okay.
who played her. I imagine she's going to reprise the role for Strange New Worlds, but I don't know that for sure.
But it does look really good, and I have to say that I'm happy with the direction that these shows are going, because, or at least so far, maybe Discovery goes off the rails at some point, but I have
My
kind of
only
been,
knock on Discovery is that it's very sort of emotional.
yeah.
Oh my God, are we talking like Star Trek: The Emo Generation?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
To-
yeah.
to-
There's a
a
lot of
degree, yeah.
crying and hugging, and it's like, oh, we all, yeah. But other than that, it is good.
Archer beams in. He's like, "Get yourselves together! Here's Starfleet!" Beams out again.
They're not very military. Let's put it that way.
Mm.
They're like, you did your best. Let's hold hands and hug and cry.
I have a rant that I'm gonna save till next week. There about that. There's Al, you just had a stroke. Yeah. I'll save that for next week because it's quite long and distinguished.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you're supposed to get the quote there. Come on, not all 3 of you just totally missed that one.
No, I didn't get it. What?
From Top Gun, it's long and distinguished. Like
Okay,
Mike
okay.
Johnson.
You know what? I did not like Top Gun.
What?
I did not like Top Gun.
You can't like or love
Back
Top
the
Gun.
fuck-
You just
back
know
the-
that it's there.
Back the fuck up. It's been over a decade since I've seen the original Top Gun. I do not remember that quote. Is this in the original Top Gun or is this the new
Original Top Gun. Yeah, there's a scene where they're in like a bar or something, and it's they're greeting each other, and they're greeting each other, and it's like, yeah, my long list of it's a list of something.
Are fighting over the same bitch, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, but the new Top Gun actually has a theater release date, which is like May 24th or something, or maybe it's July 24th, one of the two. Anyway, the film Top Gun Maverick, which was filmed like ages ago, was supposed to come out in the summer of 2020, is now going to so there you go. So I'm excited by watching it because I remember the very first time I saw the film Top Gun. I went with my parents, I think. Yes, it was with my parents. And Todd, I think. To the Mac
Todd's
store.
like, that's a Lockheed Martin. It was made in Detroit in a factory. I know the guy.
Hey,
that
look, you can see the
put it in that
signatures of the
rivet right
guys
there.
who did
His
it.
name was Bob.
But we went to the Mac store on the corner of Admirals and Craig Flower. And because they had in the back, they had a small rental place, and Mega Movies, the usual places to go, did not have any copies of Top Gun, because we're talking like this is like 1987 or something. And then we went there, and they had one copy to rent Top Gun, and yeah, we watched that movie like twice in a row. But there you go. But overall, when you look as an adult, it's pretty fucking stupid. But it's that candy fun memory thing for films, you know. We were at the right age for it to be emblazoned on our brains as being good. Is it good?
Was the Silver Bullet Band in that fucking soundtrack?
The Silver Bullet Band? I don't think.
Bob
So.
Seger, Silver Bullet Band.
No, I don't think. No, that was Kenny Loggins.
There was Van Halen with Hagar.
No, not in that movie.
Wasn't it?
No. I know that soundtrack fairly well because I've listened to it a bazillion times. But here you go. Here's what was actually on the list. For the track list for the soundtrack, Kenny Loggins' "Danger Zone," Cheap Trick.
That's where
Cheap Trick, "Mighty Wings," which was actually a Harold Faltermeyer thing. I didn't actually know that.
made it into that. Nice.
Kenny Loggins did "Playing with the Boys." Then there was Tina Marie, who did "Lead Me On." Which is the song my sister likes because she sang it a lot at that age. Berlin's "Take My Breath Away," the song that destroyed their band, because they became way too popular from it, and basically they became one-hit wonders. Anyway, then you have Miami Sound Machine, "Loverboy," another Faltermeyer tune, and then a couple of other forgettable tunes. Now, I did not know this, but there was a deluxe soundtrack release in 2006 that included Jerry Lee Lewis, Otis Redding, the Righteous Brothers. It also included Starship, Europe's "The Final Countdown." Why? I don't know.
Is
I
that
cannot
even
think
in the movie?
No, it's not. I can't even think
I mean, it's a
of a
kick-ass
single
song,
moment.
but
I cannot think of a single time where that song
Like
played.
a spiritual soundtrack or something.
Yeah, so there was maybe there's a cut of the film that we've never seen that came out in 2006, which would be weird, because who wants to have the extended edition of Top Gun? Now with even more planes flying too close.
I'm remembering a scene in the bar where I think Maverick starts up the jukebox, and it's like an old, is it an Everly Brothers tune or something? Do you remember?
No, that's the
Righteous Brothers.
the Righteous Brothers.
right. Okay.
You've lost that loving feeling.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That they sing, and they sing it
God.
poorly.
As an 80s reference.
I wish I could play it, James, but YouTube
the only
copyright laws.
The only group that have come close to making a direct Top Gun reference, I think, have to be Gunship. And I'm not wild on them because I don't like Scott's vocals, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But holy shit! So I think there is big opportunity to do like a synthwave cover version of the Top Gun soundtrack. That is something that somebody will do at some point. It's too obvious and too obviously good.
Do it.
Fun.
Get ready, Julian. James wanted us to play it, but of course, as you know, we are streaming on YouTube, and that is a bad idea if you want to get your stuff taken down. But there you
What,
go.
streaming on YouTube or playing the music?
Playing the music. Yeah.
I know.
YouTube is like taking notes for every episode we do, and they're like, oh, I don't know, we got to find some strikes against these guys. But they're streaming on Twitch as well. What the hell? And on Twitter.
It's understandable. We've got such a monstrous following. They gotta, keep tabs.
That's true. That's true. That's not in the soundtrack, but I like where you're going. It's like that film Iron Eagle.
Yes, Iron Eagle.
Where they actually had a song written for the movie called Iron Eagle, which is terrible. But it has a warm place in my heart because that was one of the first films that I ever copied from VHS to VHS, and it worked. And I don't know why it was planes. It came out, I think, a couple of years before Top Gun, if I remember correctly. But it also had Lou Gossett Jr. in it, which I liked. And
it was almost as good as Robot Jocks.
It was, yeah, it's true. It was the second time where I'd actually encountered a character dying on a show on television. The first being the entire family from the Ewok Adventure movies. They had 2 films that came out, like 82, 83.
Yeah, like a Christmas special and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had like this what's it called? The Caravan of Courage, I think it was the first one. And it was about how this family crash lands on Endor. The parents get whacked, I think. And then the brother and sister character are running. They get whacked. I don't remember exactly. They die, but they don't die because they crashed. They died because of villains or something. And then they basically try to get off the planet or something. They end up not doing it. They have to fight some sort of giant underground somewhere. Anyway, they end up basically hanging out and living with the Ewoks at the end. And then they had a second film that came out like a year later. Can't remember the title for the life of me. But the characters that survived, or maybe the parents did survive. Yeah, the parents did survive in the first film. Anyway, not that important, but essentially all of that, the entire family got wiped out in the second film, like in the first 5 minutes. And then, a couple of years later, I watched the sequel to Iron Eagle, the brilliantly titled Iron Eagle 2. And Jason Gedrick, his character from the first film gets like blown out of the sky in like the first 5 minutes of the sequel. And those moments, for some reason, just get him, I lock those memories in of like, there's a character that I kind of liked, and then they get blasted for no reason whatsoever, which then I eventually learned is bad writing. But there you go. When is the Christmas special going to be posted? I'm ready to film.
It's either bad writing or it's good toy marketing. Is it anybody?
That too.
The fucking Transformers movie understands.
The Transformers, what was the film? Every single film of the Ninja Turtles franchise. I remember. The only reason I know that is I was actually watching one of those things, the Toys That Made Us or whatever, and like every single installment of those films had to be some sort of unique toy, or some way of like putting ooze on the characters.
And to be fair, I don't think there is a single movie of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that's been released that hasn't damaged the brand since.
Yeah, well, they had that weird one a few years back. They also had one for...
The best thing that ever happened to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the Anthrax, frankly.
Okay, all right, I could go with that, sure.
I'm hoping you're meaning the band.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the guitars was fucking rad. I was like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that sounds cool. I want to find out more about that. That sounds interesting. And then I found out about the fucking cartoon, and it was
I would love to see Alan have a mohawk as
If I had
well.
enough hair left to grow a mohawk, yes.
Let's be clear. I would like it if I could grow a mohawk, but it ain't happening. So.
Yeah, no, fuck it. Like the bottom line was, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon was okay, but every live action attempt they've made of it, like you just break it down into its composite particles, and you sort of understand why this would fail. Okay, so let's do a live action movie about what characters that are ninjas and turtles. Okay. How are we going to achieve this effect?
Call Jim Henson.
Do you really think a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles directed by Jim Henson would have worked? Never mind that his kid's now doing Henson Studio stuff. How would that have worked? How would it have worked? How?
Yeah, I've never heard those lyrics before.
Yeah. It's it's a really difficult idea when you stop and analyze. Okay, ninjas and turtles, and you can do it. You can do it with cell animation. You cannot do that shit live action. That's not going to happen. And if it did happen, I think it would insult all of us in terms of this is a stupid idea, This is a really stupid idea. Done as cell animation, it's a little bit poetic. Done as full-featured fucking blockbuster Hollywood shit, my God, it's a stupid idea.
I'd like to read the original books.
Ninja Turtles. Come on, boys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Aren't we gonna get
Evidently,
probably
well into the turtles?
On that note, boys and girls, don't forget we will be back next Wednesday doing our usual thing. We of course were brought to you by Greta. She approves everything we do, and that way we can do something. I have a picture for bra sizes. What the hell? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Do all the things. Spread the name, spread the word. Let people know about the show. We do this for fun. We drink beer and talk about stuff. It's pretty cool. And as always, Alan, please take us out.